I have an idea that many of you had a priority on Monday night to watch a football game. I did, and I thought, well, if I'm sitting on the couch at 7 o'clock, I'm good to go. It starts about 7:15 or so. But on Sunday, I saw this kind of by way of internet for those attending the game. It says the mayor of Atlanta announced today that those attending the game should plan on being at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium by 4 p.m. Monday. Keep in mind now, Eastern time, that game started like 8:15, 8:20 p.m. And he's saying be at the stadium at 4 p.m. He says, for those of you not familiar with Atlanta rush hour traffic, it is horrible on most days. Throw in the football game, a presidential visit complete with motorcades and blocked roads, the first day of school, the first day of the legislative session, an Atlanta International Gift and Home Furnishings Market at America's Mark. I can't even imagine the gridlock downtown. Consider using Marta and give yourself plenty of time. It'd be awful not to make it there till halftime. Have fun and enjoy the game. And then it says hashtag go dogs, hashtag roll tide, hashtag I don't care, and hashtag welcome to Atlanta. But can you imagine paying the price that those tickets were selling for and then thinking, well, I just drive right up and go right in, and you get in that gridlock and you're looking at your watch and you're thinking, am I going to get there? And you're looking at your watch, maybe even more than traffic in front of you. And you think, what I have spent on this ticket, and I'm going to miss part of the game. Well, by the way, if you missed the first half, that was okay. But, it would be, seriously, had you spent the kind of money to be at that game, it would have been a priority. In fact, you may have been there at 4 p.m. just to be sure, even if you had to wait over 4 hours until the game to start. Priorities. We understand that with so many things in our life. What I'd hope was we understand priorities spiritually. There's some passages that speak well of priorities, and I think you're so familiar with those two passages I'm thinking of tonight. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness. I think you can be sure that as Jesus said these words, they were words of priority. This is like saying, okay, ball games don't really matter. Not when you compare it to God's righteousness and His kingdom. What you thought was so important yesterday probably doesn't matter so much compared to God's righteousness and His kingdom. There was a lawyer that came up to Jesus, trying Jesus. Nevertheless, asked a fairly good question. He says, what's the great commandment in the law? It's kind of like, narrow it all down, Jesus. What's the number one commandment? You remember Jesus' answer. He says, you love the Lord your God with all of your heart, your soul, your mind, book of Mark, as the word strength. And he says, this is the great and first commandment. Then he says, the second is likened to it. Love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Once again, it was kind of like priorities. Oh, by the way, if you love God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind, that fits in everything, doesn't it? And if you love your neighbor as yourself, all the passages and commands and teaching about how we treat each other, that's all fit in that. But it is saying something about priorities. Loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, strength. Priorities. We understand them. It's just that we have the right ones. If we could assist you in your obedience tonight, I'd hope that you'd have the priority of, I want to be right with God. Nothing else really matters compared to, I want to be right with God. And if a person has not yet obeyed Him, come to Him, accepted that salvation by His grace, you have that opportunity tonight. If you're that believer who's repented of sins, we give you opportunity to confess Jesus and then be baptized for the forgiveness of sins. If there's a need for prayer, we'd be glad to pray for you. Please come as we stand and sing.